The stories we tell ourselves in our heads around what we think is going to happen when we prospect is incredible. And a lot of the times you feel pushy, you feel like you're interrupting, you feel like you shouldn't do it. And it is killing your pipeline. I'm Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting and host of the Big Stud Sales Podcast. And what we're going to talk about today is around prospecting and the hesitation to do it. Call reluctance is one of the biggest issues in the sales environment. There's a stat out there that says every salesperson at some point in their career, call reluctance puts their job at risk. And these are for people who like doing it and do it for a living, go through bouts with issues around what are they gonna say? I'm being a nuisance, I'm getting in the way, I'm interrupting, I'm being pushy. These are false mindsets that even the best salespeople in the world struggle with. And today I'm gonna talk to you about things you can do to overcome that fear and to see the results that you're looking for your business. The biggest thing I want you to understand is you're not alone. I had a sales strategy meeting with a business owner last week who's been in business for over 5 years and has gotten to almost $1 million in revenue, who struggles with this every day. She was really dealing with the mindset of, I don't want to be interruptive, I don't want to deal with this, and I don't want to deal with that. And the biggest lesson I want you to start with, and the mindset shift, is you're not alone. What makes your competition more successful might be their ability to bypass that, overcome that hurdle, and get out there and put their name, their message in front of people. One of the biggest things I learned when I was going through my sales career, I've been in this for almost 15 years, sales and sales leadership. And one of the biggest lessons I learned is two things. One, you need to make it about awareness, not about closing the deal on that call. And two, I have to be comfortable selling things I can't afford. Those are two of the biggest hurdles that I see salespeople deal with in every industry that I've been in and with every person I've been around. People who struggle with those two items, where you think you have to close them on that first deal or you're trying to sell something that you can't afford, those are things that are incredibly difficult. And with a lot of small businesses, specifically in the remodeling industry, that hurdle of, well, I couldn't afford a $100,000 remodel, so I'm gonna go at this with a hesitancy. Or I think I need to close them on that first call, or I need to close them in that email, or I need to close them in that Facebook message. It's just not true. The concept of prospecting, from my perspective and what I've done to bring a lot of value to myself, has been incredibly more about value that I'm bringing, awareness of the value, and understanding how to present what I'm offering in a way that shows that I'm solving problems. Here's the biggest truth in every industry for every business owner. You are a problem solver. You might be remodels, you might be roofing, you might be windows, you might be gutters, you might be a service company, you might be a restoration company, plumbing, HVAC, electrical. You're all problem solvers. And if you can really identify and understand the problems that you solve, you'll feel like you're helping people, not annoying them. You'll feel like you're putting yourself in a position so when that person that you're contacting has a need, they know that you can help them. It happens to all of us. It happened to me a lot. When I was selling remodel projects, there was nothing worse than getting that phone call or text message from a friend and said, man, I'm so sorry, I forgot you did that. I forgot that that was something that you do. I forgot that that was something I could come to you with. And man, does that feel crappy, both for you and for them, because they didn't intentionally not call you. And sometimes maybe they did. I mean, there's a lot of reasons out there and a lot of relationships out there that are unknown as to why things happen. But when you're putting yourself out there and prospecting, you can't feel pushy because you need to change your mindset around it. It needs to be incredibly more about awareness and incredibly more about how you solve problems. And when you start with that instead of about you, right? Because a lot of prospecting messages, a lot of emails, a lot of websites, we're the best. We operate with integrity. We do this, we do that. We're the best. We've been around the longest. We have the best of this. We're the most quality of this. Like, no shit. Nobody gets on their website and goes, we don't operate with integrity. Good luck working with us. Nobody says that. So you're saying the same things everybody says. But when you start educating and bringing awareness to the problems you solve, You can find more important problems because ultimately you want to be the person that is top of mind when your target client or your target market or an ideal project is brought up. They think of you. They keep you in mind. And the only way to do that is for you to prospect out to your marketplace, to your referral partners, to homeowners on Instagram, on Facebook, phone calls, text messages, emails. Like, that is a salesperson's environment. That's where they operate the best. It's where I've grown. A lot of the success I have is about putting myself out there. And you're getting hit up likely every day from some sort of lead generation, SEO, set it and forget it type environment. And the bottom line is it's getting more expensive, it's becoming a lower quality, and it's really putting you in a position of, well, I paid this person this amount of money, they promised me these results and I don't have them, and now your business is at risk. And unfortunately, that's your problem, not theirs. They've been paid. They brought you their version of a value, and it's just not gonna work. And for you to keep away from that feast or famine sales cycle, that feast or famine pipeline, and that feast or famine bank account, you've got to figure out a way to get yourself out there, get in front of people, and do it consistently. One of the best prospecting messages I've used with some of the most wild success from a closed business perspective was, would you benefit from a relationship with insert what you do? And what that does is it allows you to find the lowest hanging fruit. Because bottom line is you as a person, you as a business, and you as a service provider are not for everybody. If you're a flooring company, like, one of the worst taglines I've heard is, from a flooring company saying, anybody with floors is a good referral for me. Well, that's just bullshit. Like, that's just not true, right? There are good people out there, bad people out there, projects that are built for you, projects that are not right for you. So when you're going in that route, you want to get to the lowest hanging fruit so you know where to invest your time going forward. Because we've all had the bad leads, we've all had the bad clients, we've all had the terrible experiences, we've all been shafted on an invoice. It happens to everybody. It's part of running a business in this environment. But if you can understand how to get to the lowest hanging fruit who carry the biggest problem you can solve for the most amount of money, not only are you making them happy because you saved the day, they're willing to pay you more. And this is kind of a tagline that I've heard, or a saying that I've heard recently is your ability to be compensated is directly related to the size problems you solve. And instead of saying like, hey, we can do this the best, it's, hey, we solve this problem. This problem is the most valuable to whatever it is that you do. Roofing company, siding company, remodeler, the problems you solve are going to be different. You're not just a construction company. And understanding that and just putting yourself out there consistently on a daily basis with the right message, which could be as simple as, would you benefit from a relationship with a successful sales coach within the remodeling world? I might send that 100 times a week. And no, I don't get a large percentage back. I don't get a large percentage close, but the people who do get back to me are my lowest hanging fruit and the highest propensity to buy. And I'm not pushing. I'm not saying buy my stuff right now. I'm not saying you need me. I'm saying, hey, these are the problems I solve. This is the stuff I can do. Here's the reason you're having those problems, and here's why my product or service brings you benefit. And you can do the same thing. If you start with your product or service every time when you're prospecting, if you're calling someone saying, hey, are you ready to hire a remodeling company? That, of course, is going to be a nuisance. It's, of course, going to be an inconvenience because you're not putting yourself and having empathy for the buying decision process, the buying decision timeline of your target market. You want them to be aware of you. You want them to have interest in you, and you want them to think of you when that problem arises. And it really is that simple. Look, prospecting is not a difficult task in its individual activity. What becomes difficult is the lack of success, the mindset around it. What is difficult is the mindset of, maybe this person doesn't want to hear from me. Anybody who has done prospecting knows you never know where your next lead's coming from. You never know where your next great referral partner is coming from. And you never know where that next project that is going to change and mold your entire year is going to come from. Well, it's irresponsible of you to stop fishing. It's irresponsible of you to stop hunting. You've got to get the information out there in front of the right people. Because if you stop doing that, and I see this happen all the time, you're slow, right? Right now it's January. You're slow, so you're doing a lot of sales stuff. You get busy, you close 10 projects. You spend the next 3 months producing those projects and doing no sales activity, and what happens? Those projects complete, and now you have an empty pipeline again, and you gotta start the whole process over again. Consistently doing prospecting allows you to keep that status quo and then slightly increase it. And it really comes down to how you reverse engineer your yearly goals. Prospecting is a huge part of that. If you know you want to do X amount of dollars, it's going to take X amount of jobs. X amount of jobs is going to take X amount of leads. X amount of leads come from X amount of conversations. Well, to get those conversations, they're not coming to you. They're not knocking on your door. You got to go make the door swing for yourself. So get over the mindset of you being pushy. Get over the mindset of you being interruptive. It's true. You are going to be pushy, interruptive, and a pain in the ass to the wrong clients regardless. But if you don't do it, you're never gonna find the right ones. Or the right ones are gonna be harder to find because they're not knocking on your door. So when you sit down for the next activity, when you sit down to think about prospecting, you're writing out your message, or you're writing out your DM, or you're writing out your email or talk track for that phone call, think positively. Think this could be the one that changes my outlook. This could be the one that changed my situation. I had someone call me last week, had lost all their projects for first quarter. He was literally freaking out, in tears, struggling with what to do next. I said, do this, make this many phone calls, 20 phone calls a day to these types of people. And in less than 5 days, he found 6 opportunities. 6. He had no pipeline, he had no work. In 2 weeks, he was gonna be dead. Him, his employees, no one was gonna have work, no one was gonna get paid. But with the right message and the right activity, you can refill your pipeline incredibly quick. But it takes you getting over that mindset of negativity and honestly feeling like a victim. Because when you have that victim mentality of I'm gonna get hurt or I'm gonna bother them, look, it is not your job to worry about how your prospects interact with you or how they respond to you. You know you need to prospect because you need leads, because you need jobs, because you wanna make money. Those are facts. That is not an opinion. Those are 4 things you have to do as a business. But it's not up to them to do it for you. And it's not up to them to need you. It's for you to help educate and make awareness around the problems you solve. And when you look at it that way, when you look at it from a problem-solving perspective, it's really easy to avoid the I'm an inconvenience because you know you're delivering value to whoever you're making that phone call to. This is a really small part in the overall sales process, so I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below what you're gonna do this week to make a change in your business. I'd love for you to follow along and engage with me, so please reach out with anything that you have, any questions you have. This is what I do for a living, and I love it. The problems I solve make changes in business owners like you, and I wanna see more of it. So engage, comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.